every once in a while.
Well, you missed out on the 6-7 brick structure fire.
I was hearing that on the way back in. I'm like, the embers does it every time.
Flew over and like the shed is on us.
That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
What do you do? You get out there and the whole team, I wish you're...
And then the MV failed.
That was
the guy the most.
It's a 19-year-old. Had a 19. So what is he? We used to see those all the time with the guy.
Oh yeah, we used to have one.
Yeah. We didn't have one. Or know somebody that had one.
Yeah, we used to have one. But we get a lot of fun with them.
That would be fine. Yeah, that's fine. I got you. I'm listening. He's coming. I think he's coming. It's far South Bear County. Very far. That's the field.
Compadre, you know, I'm gonna fire up the bag and then just start going. Or share this one. So as soon as we see these lights
Got right behind you. That was my fault.
It's right here.
Well, the Cowboys got a bye week, so you got a free Sunday.
Yeah, but one one's better than two.
Oh, that's right, man.
It's a good game.
Hi, good afternoon. Everybody ready? Okay, well, this morning we came out and we're at the scene of a chop shop operation, a pretty extensive one of the biggest ones I've seen in my time as sheriff. What brought us here is several weeks ago there was a fire of unknown origin here at this location. On that day, the fire crews notified us that they had, during the course of putting out the fire, noticed some 8-liners in the building. At that point, there was nobody physically here at that time, no residents, no occupants of the home, but they did advise our organized crime folks that there were some 8-liners to be concerned with. During further investigation, we continued to keep the place under surveillance as there was possible criminal activity going on. One of the investigators recently had occasion to, utilizing a neighboring property, look over and see some license plates of some vehicles that were in the back. Those license plates were checked and were found to come back stolen. We obtained a warrant, executed that warrant today, and found upwards of 50 stolen vehicles, most of them high-end pickups. They're all chopped up. I mean, I don't see an intact vehicle back there. Doors removed, interiors removed, so it looks like, engines removed. It looks like they're bringing these vehicles here, dismantling them, and then selling them elsewhere, selling parts of them elsewhere. From what we're able to gather, we're upwards of 50 vehicles, high-end pickup trucks, usually King Ranch, Platinum Edition type pickups, which are very high-end, very expensive vehicles. Dollar figure, we're looking between $2 million and $2.5 million at present. And as we're continuing to search, we're continuing to find parts of other vehicles, but for the most part, we're over 50. Most of the vehicles that are here are stolen out of the city of San Antonio, but we're also finding several that look like they were stolen out of Austin. Interestingly enough, in conducting further research, our auto theft investigators are linking up with other counties and cities now where they're finding that vehicles that are here, the engines that were stolen out of those vehicles have also already been recovered in other parts of the state, Brazoria County, Harris County. So this is definitely a multi-state, multi-city, multi-county theft operation. At present, we don't have anybody under arrest, but we do have the property owner identified. And suffice it to say, that name is a name that is familiar to us through other operations. So I do anticipate that there will be arrests made, at least one arrest made in connection with this extensive chop shop operation. Esta mañana nosotros ejecutamos una orden de cateo en esta propiedad, donde hace unas cuantas semanas los bomberos respondieron aquí por un reporte de un fuego. Ya cuando ellos llegaron, lograron apagar el fuego, pero encontraron que habían máquinas de juego ilegal. Ellos nos dijeron a nosotros, a nuestra unidad de crimen organizada, nosotros seguimos fijándonos en la propiedad. Hace unos cuantos días, uno de nuestros oficiales detectives logró ver hacia la propiedad de otra propiedad que son vecinos. Vio unas placas de unos carros. Ya él checó esas placas y encontró que esos vehículos eran robados. Entonces, esta mañana nosotros ejecutamos una orden de cateo en esta propiedad. Nos hemos encontrado con aproximadamente 50 camionetas, marca King Ranch, Platinum. Nosotros son camionetas de lujo, de mucho valor. Entonces el valor totalmente, aproximadamente $2 millones del valor de estas camionetas. Pero también nos estamos encontrando con otros carros. La mayoría de esos carros fueron robados de la ciudad de San Antonio, pero sí hemos encontrado algunos que fueron robados en Austin, en otras partes del estado. Y también estamos encontrando vehículos aquí donde ya nosotros hemos encontrado los motores de estos vehículos en otros condados, en Houston, en condado de Brazoria. Entonces, esto es una operación grande que están operando en otras partes del estado. Nosotros ahorita no tenemos nadie bajo arresto, pero sí se sabe que hay cuando menos un sospechoso que sabemos que es el dueño de la propiedad. Y ya conocemos ese nombre, entonces yo puedo ver que va a haber arrestos en este caso. Any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
So just to confirm, y'all were kind of tipped off to this because of the fire initially.
Mm-hmm.
But did you have any reports from neighbors? I would think that neighbors would see all these trucks pulling in and it might be a red flag.
You know, at present we don't have any that I'm aware of calls, but however, when we did talk to some neighbors, they did get a feeling that there was something amiss, something was going on. So certainly I would use this as an opportunity to remind the public that if you feel that there's suspicious activity, that's what we're here for. Please call us. We'll be researching calls for service, and if indeed they did place calls to us, we'll certainly handle that on our end. But with that being said, if you feel like there's something amiss, that's what non-emergency numbers are for. Obviously, anywhere in the county, whether it's in the city or in unincorporated Bexar County, you can call the Sheriff's Office, 210-335-6000, and let us know that these things are occurring. You can also email us at bcsotips@bear.org. Again, that's anywhere within the 1,200 square miles of Bexar County, whether incorporated or unincorporated.
Podríamos hablar entonces que es una banda criminal muy bien organizada, ¿no? No solamente el propietario, sino mucho más gente que ha perpetrado este delito.
Sí, es delito organizado. Ya sabemos que es una operación grande que están operando en otros condados en el estado. Entonces, para nosotros, ahorita sí sabemos que va a haber un arresto, pero es posible que vayamos a ver otros arrestos en conexión con este caso.
¿Tienen información del área de este domicilio? ¿A quién pertenece?
Ya sabemos el dueño de la propiedad y ya sabemos que es un nombre que nosotros reconocemos de otras investigaciones. Entonces ya es posible que este sospechoso se va a enfrentar con otros cargos. Sure. We do know who the property owner is here. It's a name that is familiar to us. We have had dealings with that property owner at other places, gambling operations with stolen vehicles there as well. So clearly this is not a person that has seen the error of his ways. We do intend to point those out to him, though, very soon.
Do you feel like he's a part of a bigger organization working here?
Oh, absolutely. I do think that this is part of a much bigger operation. As I mentioned, some of these cars were stolen in other parts of the state and brought here. Some of these vehicles, we do know for a fact, parts of these vehicles were recovered in other parts of the state, Brazoria County, Harris County, Travis County. So absolutely, this is a big operation. I don't anticipate that this person was working alone.
Are the liners going to be kind of involved with this as well? Or
So,
is it just something?
surprisingly enough, the 8-liners that were here that were reported to us, they're no longer in that house. And so they've obviously been moved at some point. You know, the presence of 8-liners, let me just tell you, the presence of 8-liners in and of itself is not illegal. It's the manner in which they pay out that comes to our attention. So with in this instance, there'll be there won't necessarily be any charges for the 8-liners themselves, but certainly the 50+ stolen vehicles to the tune of $2 million certainly is cause for concern.
Do you guys have any? Do you have any evidence indicating that it might be also, because you hear about these trucks being gutted to use for
Sure.
human smuggling? Have you guys seen anything like that?
Well, at this point, these vehicles aren't just gutted; they're dismantled. And so, what we're thinking now, and of course, this is speculation on the part of the investigators, albeit they're making an educated guess based on their training and experience. They think that these things are being dismantled and then the parts being sold elsewhere. So, at present, none of the vehicles here we don't believe were being used for human smuggling because they're completely taken apart. But that is certainly always a possibility.
¿Nos podrá repetir esa parte en español?
Sí, nosotros sabemos que camionetas como estas grandes, muchas veces camionetas de lujo, son usadas por traficando de seres humanos, contrabando de seres humanos más bien. Ahorita no se piensa que eso es lo que están haciendo. Estas camionetas ya las desmantelaron. Y nosotros, para nosotros, nomás parece que están quitando todas las partes de la camioneta, vendiéndoles esas partes más adelante. Es lo que se piensa que están haciendo aquí, no necesariamente traficando de seres humanos.
And just for clarification about the property owner / subject, is he here on the property detained, or is he still y'all are looking for?
He is not detained, but we know who he is, and it's a name that we recognize from other operations where we've caught illegal gambling going on, but in connection with stolen vehicles as well. So that's par for the course. The presence of the 8-liners, the stolen vehicles, that's certainly par for the course for this suspect. So it's highly likely he's going to be arrested again very soon.
He's not in custody right
He's not in custody right now. We just know who he is.
now. Okay.
What's going to happen with all this stuff now?
Well, now we begin the process of getting those vehicles out of there. And look, there's 50 vehicles back there in parts and pieces. I'm fully anticipating that, and they're layered. So under this stolen truck is parts of another stolen truck. So now we're going to begin the process of getting everything out of here. So residents can expect to hear a bunch of noise out of here, as we're probably going to have to bring in some heavy machinery and get these because these trucks are not in the shape where we can just drive them up onto a wrecker. We're going to physically have to get some machinery here and painstakingly document everything and get it out of here. So residents can expect to hear a bunch of noise coming from this property. Again, if anybody's got any information on this criminal enterprise or any others, they can always email us at bcsotips@bear.org.
Can I ask you another question
Sure.
related to a different investigation?
Absolutely.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but in regards to the suspects that were arrested in connection to the auto theft detailed last week, they are mentioned in the affidavit as persons of interest in the shooting of the 4-year-old
Sure.
murder. Are you closer to putting charges on them?
So thank you. So you're talking about their connection to the Windsor Hollow murder, where little Marianne was shot and killed, unfortunately. Yes, we are closer. Now we haven't yet reached a point where we can label those folks as suspects, but they certainly are persons of interest in that shooting. Prior to, and that's quite frankly why we were there that morning, is we were hoping to glean more. We had charges, some of them completely unrelated to the case, but we were hoping to get into these residences and get some information that would more closely tie these people. We accomplished just that. Now, while we're not there yet, we did get a few steps closer. Ashton Garcia, who we were in front of his house that day on what was the name of the street, Johnny? Hamilton, no, Alexander Hamilton. The house on 101 Alexander Hamilton, Ashton Garcia. He actually turned himself in over the weekend. So they are all in custody now. We use this as an opportunity to remind the community that these people, while they are certainly persons of interest, we just need more information. We think we're on the right trail, we're on the right track, but we need more information. Again, we're asking anybody with information to email us at bcsotips@bear.org. You can remain anonymous. And again, I'll use this as an opportunity to remind everybody that there is still a $10,000, up to a $10,000 reward for information on that case. So that may be just the inducement that somebody may need to convince them to come forward and give us the information we need to charge these folks. Okay, thank y'all very much. It's bad out here.